Good morning, guys. Well, I got another repair video I'm going to attempt. I've got a microwave that won't open. This is a KitchenAid microwave. The power was still present on the console before I unplugged it. Is it a mechanical problem? Is it electrical? What's the diagnosis? Now, the first instinct when you see something like this is that it's going to be a mechanical issue, but having been behind a few of these before, I can tell you that sometimes these are designed so that there's no possibility of the consumer opening the door if there's been some sort of electrical problem like a fuse. And so I'm still hoping it's a fuse. I'm going to take off the screws on the back and we'll lift off the back and we'll see what we see. It's surprising how often appliances are designed this way. You take all the screws out and then you slide it back and then you can lift the whole thing off. The other nice thing is that after you get the initial cover off, you almost always have a diagram that gives you a lot of help in terms of deciding what to do next. There's usually an electrical diagram in here and also some description of parts. Of course, by the time you get to this stage, you've got to make sure that you're completely unplugged. Well, anybody who's been around for a long time will know that microwaves have traditionally been really heavy, and this is one of the heavy variety. This is a magnetron here, and this is a transformer. The newer inverter-based microwaves are a lot lighter, requiring fewer materials and more circuitry. You can see here's the light bulb, and back here we've got the fan. And this is a huge capacitor in here. Now, be really careful around this because this can retain charge for many minutes after you unplug it. So basically, don't touch these things. This is the rectifier. And the one thing that a consumer can fix on his own generally is the fuse. And the fuse is right there. It's that white thing. And to test it, you take it out, check for resistance. And if the resistance is infinite, you just replace the fuse. They're quite expensive, but fairly easy to fix as a home DIY person. Oh, here you are in the back of the microwave, and bang, we've got a problem. This here is a broken plastic part. Now I just have to figure out where it goes and how it works. Fixing these little plastic parts is going to be a lot more challenging than fixing a fuse. This is going to be a lot easier to fix if I can isolate this plastic piece and put it out on my workbench. You can see it's held on with a couple of plastic tabs here, and then up the side, there's one there, one up here, and then this Phillips head screw. So I'm going to try and undo some of this and try and isolate this plastic part so I can get it onto the workbench. Just undoing this one screw up top is giving me lots more room, and I've got another screw right here I'll get at from underneath. Now, before I start unplugging tabs, I'm just going to do a quick video here just showing where everything goes so it'll be easier to reassemble after. You want to be careful not to touch any of these capacitors here, although it's been some time since I've had any power to this device. Overnight I've left it. And we'll see how it goes. Now, if you don't have access to video, then carefully write down where all these plastic connectors go. Good engineering would mean that none of the tabs can be cross-wired and put in the wrong place, but that's not always a guarantee. Okay, I've undone those three connectors and I'm loose. The other thing that helps you is that there's a natural resting state. This device has been sitting at this position ever since it left the factory, and so these wires want to point to where they are used to staying. Well, I generally don't like to combine glues, but this seemed like a perfect opportunity. I used the Crazy Glue to fix the plastic part in place so I wouldn't have to put little clamps on it and hold it. It was the instantaneous aspect of the Crazy Glue was important for me there. This particular kind of Crazy Glue is a gel control, which is really helpful, and I especially like the packaging, which allows me to keep it sealed and then reuse it at a later date, so I'm not throwing the whole tube of glue out each time. The second glue I used was JB Weld, which is an epoxy glue. And it's a mechanic standby type glue. It builds up the surface of all kinds of metals, and in this case plastic, and as an unusual coincidence in this case the color ended up being a perfect match, even though nobody's ever going to see it. Well, it's surprisingly difficult for me to show you this, but I think you can appreciate it. I built up a ridge of JB Weld around this plastic part, which both increases the surface area of contact and also gives me some mechanical advantage, so the plastic part is less likely to twist and break off with repetitive mechanical strain. Okay, I've got the fix in place and it seems to be working normally now. Now that I've got it working fine, I want to show you how the door works. The door is open right now, and you'll see there are two switches there. One is the red one down below and then a green one up above. And as I close the door, watch what happens. You can see both those switches close when the door closes, preventing the consumer from accidentally having the microwave on when the door is open. Well, it's only been a few weeks, but I think I've got enough here to call this a fix. So if this video helped you out and you'd like to see more of them, then hit like or subscribe or leave a comment. I'd love to hear what others say. Thanks for watching.